about what his children are doing, what kind of hobbies does he have, and he's sold on the idea, and you just walk up and say, okay sir, I'll see you next, or I'll give you a call. Then your timing is off. What would be the right timing? That okay, we warmed up. So how about taking 5 interns right now? I think we've zeroed in on your requirements. Do you think we can meet again to discuss? So you are good at timing. You will not make people feel uncomfortable by asking the wrong question at the wrong time. All right? I think very keen thing about good salespeople is they're very solution oriented, and this is something very important for you guys who are new ISEC recruits, ISEC members right now. They're in ISEC. I don't know how long you will be here. Some will be here for 2 months. Some will be here for 10 years, whatever. Please have an attitude of being solution oriented. Do not whine. All right. There are problems everywhere, and there are issues everywhere. But if you want to be successful in life, for example, in our company, we are 35 people. Out of the managers that we have, I want to spend time with the guy who is not telling me the obvious thing, that this is not working, but who will come into the room and tell me that, you know what, this is not working, I'm sure you know about this. I got these 4-5 ideas, what do you think? That is solution oriented, right? So be solution oriented. Sales people are good, we are solution oriented. They, because they mean well. They're not about making you uncomfortable by telling you the obvious. Oh, the generator is not working. Obviously, the generator is not working. Or the electricity is not there. Obviously, this is a thing that happened with us about last 7 days. We had no electricity because something happened and people came and cut in electricity. So, if there was somebody who was to come and tell me the obvious, I'll feel even more tense. I would want people to. And there were some nice people. Some of them would come and say that don't worry about it. We'll work with candles. I said, but laptops don't work with candles, right? You need electricity. Alright. I think also salespeople have a lot of patience. You cannot be good in sales till the time you're patient. Sales as a profession has a maximum rejection rate. People will, close the doors on your face, say that, oh, I don't think I need it. Especially when you're doing product sales. The smaller an object that you're selling, if you're selling a pressure cooker and you're going from one house to the other, the chances of rejections are much higher. Of course, when you're selling consulting, when you're selling services, when you're selling ISEC, the chances of somebody, banging the door on your face is much lesser. You're doing it in a dignified manner. You're not just, what happens in my case is like a mom is making food in the morning and there's a guy who would come from XYZ company and they'll be, she's right in the middle of making something and the guy starts with his bitch. Poor timing, and can't blame them because I'm sure he's got his targets and his boss is told him that you need to sell 15 today. And the guy has to, for whatever reasons, has picked up that job. So, patience is a very important virtue. Right? Then you have to be very, you have a lot of perseverance. If a client says no, please don't take it personally. Don't get into that, oh, I suck at sales, nobody likes me. You don't have to take things personally. You can be successful in sales only if you have a very strong self-esteem. If your self-esteem is low, you will not be able to sell at all because you have so many rejections. 90% of the time, salespeople get rejections. Alright? So, either you need to be a psycho to carry on with sales or you have a very strong self-esteem where you know that, okay, fine, the guy is not able to see what my product or service can do for him. That's fine. Or maybe I sold it to the wrong guy. Don't be cocky about it as, oh, the guy is blind, he can't see what my service can do for him. But be level-headed to know that, okay, fine, maybe my technique was wrong. I'll try again. So that's why if you keep on doing sales for a longer time, you will become really good. You'll be a very good husband, a very good wife. You need tons of patience when you're a husband or a wife. When you have kids, neither will husband or wife actually. I think also sales as a profession is very rewarding. Most of the sales people, they make difference in the bottom line of own organizations. They are the ones who will know about the grass, the reality that is there on the ground. They don't make tactics and strategies just in the air. They've been on the ground, they know how whether the product or service is selling or not. If tomorrow exchange is not selling in Chandigarh, you might as well be doing something else. You will get in touch with the MC and tell them, guys, exchange is no more, let's bury it, let's try something else. And thankfully our vision is so vast, peace and fulfillment of humankind potential, we can do so many different things. That's a very tricky thing that I say founders do. Like, you have a very, very nice approach. We can do anything, right? We can still be alright. Okay. Very important one. I think we'll just cover two things. Three things here. 3 pages more? 15 minutes more? Just let me know. We'll, nice. Very keen observer of human behavior. Very nice. Full marks. 9 out of 10. Alright guys. Very important. What is the difference between product sales and services sales? What do you do in ISEC and what are you going to do later? But very important, what is the difference between the two things? This is an open audience kind of question. Product sale और service sale में क्या अंतर है? जी. When you're selling an event, it's a product sale. Okay.
And maybe exchange.
Okay. Sounds good. Yes, please.
So the thing is, let's talk about exchange program which we have. So when I raise a contract from a company, so at that time it's a product sale. But when an intern comes, the servicing happens and that intern is working in the company. So that's called the servicing.
Okay. Anyone else? Please. Maximum participation in this question.
Just an example of Dell, giving a Dell. So what I do with a Via laptop, that is, okay, I'm owning of Dell. If I sell a laptop, that is my product selling. And if I sell the warranty, 3 years warranty, that is the after sale, like the package that I get, that is service sale. But I get the service.
Pretty good.
It's not that. It's like there's difference between a product and a service. Product is something which is like defined and which is like there. Service is something which might vary according to like how a person takes it like and uses it.
Okay.
Like a company uses the data service,
Right.
and some other company might not use it so well.
Right. Pretty good.
Product exchange is tangible,
Right.
whereas service exchange is intangible. Product as in a good, like we exchange a good, and whereas in servicing, we exchange service. Like we said that if the laptop company gives you the three-year warranty, that's the service exchange.
Pretty good.
In product sale, there are like you can give a demo or something, and it may vary from person to person. Like there are many shops that sell Dell laptops. So the laptops are same. It's the way, and the servicing is basically like how the person actually explains the thing, how the person actually describes the quality of the service he's providing.
So when you're buying a Dell laptop and the sales guy is telling you about features of Dell, then that will be services sale.
That can be a product sale also, but
Okay.
the laptop is his product.
Okay.
And he's actually explaining the things like how the product
features
can
of the product.
actually relate to the consumer.
Right. Pretty good. Hanji.
According to the product, it's like it is basically more of a materialistic thing. Basically, only one thing is that, and service is more functional, right? Basically, which is followed up by along with the
Pretty good.
I think I can correlate these two terms with ISEC as well. Like talking about the exchange department, internship is what we sell; it's a product, and services is something that we deliver to the client. When he is on an internship, what all services is he getting there? Is he happy with the internship or not? Or is he facing any sort of a problem? And what all things are we doing to manage his problems and all? That is like.
Super answers.
I think that services is much
You
more.
had a really good time last night, I'm sure.
So services is much more intense because a company or any institution is investing a lot because you are providing them services which you are going to carry along.
Right.
The company is going, even the institution is going to show that we are providing these services
Right.
or because you are providing them. So obviously it will attach to their brand, so they will think more before taking up. And also when it's services you'll always be there with the company till there'll be a bond. So you have to be there whenever they need your services.
Okay.
So you just can't sell it off and just back off.
All right. Pretty good.
So this is in terms of taking your example. For selling a car. So Honda is selling a car. So that is its product. And for example, Honda says that for 1 year or 2 years, the servicing of the car would be absolutely free.
Right.
So that is something it is doing to enhance its product. So that is going to be one of their services. Which will enhance the sales of the product as well. That, I mean, I would prefer if a Tata is not maybe it won't affect the company much.
Right.
But it customizes the product really well. It enhances it.
Great. Last one, please.
Yeah, I just want to say that product and service they go hand in hand. Nowadays, I guess the consumer looks at the product with a broader perspective, with the service also coming in because no one wants the product as a liability.
Okay.
So the services need to kick in after the sale of the product. So
Great. Alright guys, one Hanji please.
What I believe is that when someone buys a product, they have to invest two times. One is the capital investment on the product.
Right.
Second is a long-lasting installment investment in services, and these services can be provided by not only the company from which you have bought the product. So the company which promises those services from which you have bought the product, that makes more sense, so that you don't have to invest a lot of time.
Excellent.
Like take example of Cisco, you just say Cisco, I want to buy products from you, and that's the product oriented one. But if you say Cisco that set up a LAN connection and WAN connection, everything for me, that's a servicing oriented part, and they would manage everything. And like they take example of AT&T Laboratories, they are maintaining everything. Their downtime is like 2 seconds, everything.
Right.
That is the servicing part.
Excellent, yeah. Maza aa gaya. I think you guys are pretty much spot on. Just a small clarification here. In my sense, product sales is anything, you sell anything which is tangible, which you can feel there itself. I'm selling a pressure cooker, I'm selling a Dell laptop, I can feel the product, I can see anything that I'm going to be buying, and that's product sales. Services sales is different from servicing. Servicing is something that you do irrespective of whether you're selling consulting, a product or service. Servicing means that once you sold a product or a service, what do you do after that? Do you just forget the client, right? Or do you make sure that if there are any problems, then you take care of it? A service sale, which is what we do in ISEC when we do exchange, because they can't see the intern, right? They haven't met that person, and it's a promise of a future that you're trying to sell them. Okay. Now the demands of these two kinds of services are very different. Now how is this important to you guys? Right? Why did I ask this question? The reason I'm asking is that try and picture this: that you want to buy a let's say you have the money and you want to buy a new car. Let's say you want to buy a Ferrari. You walk into a showroom where a Ferrari is sold, and the sales guy comes in and he shows some action. You know, he doesn't take care of you well. You're waiting on him, and a Ferrari is a pretty expensive car, and you got the money with you, but the guy is not taking good care of you, right? But you will still go ahead and buy the Ferrari, right? Because you know that you're not going to meet that sales guy ever in your life again. Even if there's a problem, you'll be going to the service center, and there will be a whole set of different people who are going to be taking care of servicing. You will not meet that guy ever again. In product sales, by and large, do you remember the guy who sold you your laptop? Do you remember his name?
No.
Unless he's a friend of yours. You won't, right? Do you think ISEC clients remember you guys once you go for appointments? I think by and large they do, right? Unless you really suck. If you really suck, even then they'll remember, because then they'll remember that, oh, that appointment was really good. So it works both ways. So when you're doing services sales, when you're doing a product sale, it's a very short interaction. Alright? Usually for a few minutes, maybe a couple of days. But when you're doing services sales, there's a whole gestation period. There's a whole quoting period. Somebody wants to spend $1 million in buying some services. Do you think he's just going to take a call just by meeting him once or twice? No ways. He will get quotes from 20 companies. He'll make them sit in the same room, ask them the same questions, tell them this guy is giving me this, what